Well, hello and welcome once again to another edition of Pray on This. I'm your host, John Pray. And before we get going, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. Doesn't hurt you and it definitely helps the channel. But also, if you're not comfortable with YouTube anymore, join me on Rumble. So, I've been saying it over and over. I was hoping to have a quiet summer. And yet, here we are again. Why are we here now? Well, yesterday and today, the Prime Minister is having private meetings with cabinet ministers. What does this mean? Well, it means that he's getting ready to shuffle his cabinet, supposedly move out the dead wood, bring in some fresh faces, and renew that liberal spirit for the upcoming election. Now, I know that there are those on the left who are going to say, "What election, John? We're good till 2025. No, I don't think so. And the reason I say that is that these sorts of things don't just come out of thin air. It is very typical for a long in the tooth government, such as the Liberals right now, to shuffle the cabinet 6 to 8 months before an election call, which is what we've got going on. So, what are we seeing here? Is this either a refresh of the government and that there's going to be new direction and we're going to move forward and everybody's going to love the Liberals again? Or is this just shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic? You already know my opinion. I don't like the Liberals, and I think this is just a shuffling of the deck chairs. But any way you slice it, by this time tomorrow, there's going to be several ministers out on their ass and a bunch of new ones in. Now, why don't we take a look at who is and who is out for sure that we already know. Carolyn Bennett, who is our Minister of Public Health and Addictions, she's not only out, but she has also made an announcement that she is not running in the next federal election. There's a few other ministers that we need to take a look at. Lawrence MacAulay, our Minister of Veterans Affairs. He's 76 years old. Is he going to be sticking around till possibly 2025 and then still going forward for another election? That would make the man 82 by the end of the next term. Probably not likely. We also have to take a look at Joyce Murray, the Fisheries Minister, and Bill Blair, the Emergency Preparedness Minister, who are both 69. Are these ministers going to be sticking around for another election, another kick at the can? Probably not, which would mean that even if they're not being removed from cabinet for being inferior in their job, they could just be being moved out to try and get portfolio for and portfolio and public airtime for new faces in the Liberal cabinet that they hope to put forward as a new fresh government. Worked for Kathleen Wynne in 2014. Maybe that's what Trudeau's hoping will happen here. Then we've got Helena Jezak, who is the Minister of Public Services and Procurement. She's 72 years old. She's already announced she's not going to run, and apparently she's out for a different reason. Apparently she made Justin Trudeau's inner circle unhappy with her work, and they questioned a lot of it. There's also plenty of speculation who else will be dropped from cabinet for poor performance. Marca Mendocino at Public Safety, Ahmed Hussein at Housing, Seamus O'Regan at Labor, Omar Algraba at Transport, who's already stated that he will not be seeking re-election and that he is making an announcement tomorrow or later today, which means he's probably not just leaving cabinet, he's probably resigning from Parliament. Now, depending on the sources you listen to, some of them say that Stephen Guilbeault's on his way out of environment. Others say that he's just fine. There are some that say that Melanie Joly, our worst ever foreign affairs minister, is somehow going to keep her job and stick around. And the only thing that we know for sure is that Chrystia Freeland is going nowhere. She's staying on as Deputy Prime Minister and also our Finance Minister. I don't really see where Trudeau's got a lot to work with here. He doesn't have what I would consider a lot of top-notch talent on the back bench. Um, and there are some definite people who want a cabinet position, but are definitely not deserving. Kingston and the Islands MP Mark Garretson comes to mind as someone who would probably kill his mother and skin her bottom just so he could make a drum to beat his own praises. Yet he's definitely not cabinet material. There's an awful lot of liberals that are not, and is he going to recycle in some ministers that were in his cabinet from 2015 to 2019, or were in his cabinet from 2019 to 2021? It's possible, but they were moved out for a reason. The real telling thing is this, is that when Justin Trudeau was elected in 2015, he had some real talent, some real movers and shakers in that cabinet. Judy Wilson-Raybould, Jane Philpott, Cesar Chavez, I believe. He had some real talent there. And he's pushed them all out. And then, of course, we had the former finance minister, Bill Morneau, fall on his sword for Trudeau and leave cabinet. This is what I can see coming. I can see Ben Carr, who was just elected in Winnipeg and replaced his father, who passed away from cancer. And it's a strategically important area for the Liberals around Winnipeg, so I'm assuming he's going to be moved into cabinet. Anna Gainey, although she is a former minister, she is also the former Liberal Party president, close to Trudeau, and she and her family actually joined the Trudeau family on that infamous trip to the Aga Khan private island. So that's a very big possibility. She'll be moved into cabinet. And there's a rumor that they're going to move Anita Anand to a more problematic area. I would suggest she's probably Marco Mendicino's replacement over at public safety. It's also probably to thwart her leadership ambitions a little bit. Because don't ever kid yourself. Trudeau rules that party with an iron fist, and he does not want anybody who thinks that he could be replaced in a strong position. Pascal Saint-Onge, the sports minister, is likely up for a promotion. Kamal Khera is the current minister in charge of seniors. She probably would get one. Others that could be promoted, Marcy N., Gaudy Hutchins. Like I said, not a lot of talent. These people are basically bootlickers of the PMO. And, for someone who really needs to do something to change the minds of an awful lot of Canadians that he could still be trusted to be our prime minister and that his party is still fit to govern, not a great way to go. I am beyond belief surprised, though, that he's keeping Chrystia Freeland as the finance minister. And the reason I say this is that Canadians really despise Freeland. Like they may hate her more than they hate him. And keeping her as the deputy prime minister and as the finance minister, giving her such a prominent portfolio, second only to himself, putting that woman front and stage, that's not good politics. I think the bloom is off the rose, and I think that truly this is a shuffling of the deck chairs on the Titanic that's already struck an iceberg and is going down by the bow. And the more I take a look at the weird week or last couple of weeks of housing, I can't help but talk about Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP. He came out with a press conference yesterday. Now he wants major help for people who are going to lose their homes during the pending mortgage bomb that's coming. I've been talking about it now for about 6 to 8 months, and It's finally getting on the radar of the left-wing politicians, that being Trudeau and Singh, realizing that there's an awful lot of voters that have supported them who own homes, who are really starting to feel the pinch, especially those with variable mortgages. But now, not even just that, those who have mortgages coming up for renewal, because those mortgages are starting to renew this fall. There's an awful lot renew in 2024 and even more in 2025. There's going to be a lot of people lose their homes. And Singh is coming up with some crazy ideas. He's suggesting we do what Spain is doing, which is they're giving direct subsidies to people who cannot afford their homes to be able to stay in their homes. Portugal is forcing, sorry, I've got that backwards. Spain is forcing their banks to give artificially low interest rates to their citizens so they don't lose their home. Portugal is giving direct subsidies. In other words, the taxpayers are paying a large chunk of the mortgage for people to stay in their homes. Great Britain and the United States have increased amortization rates, and it's being allowed here in Canada, taking your amortization from 25 years, or if it's coming up for renewal after a 5-year mortgage, taking what it would be 20 years left on the mortgage and now stretching that out over 40. Keeps your payments low, but you're paying a lot more interest. I just take a look at what's coming here, and I just don't think that Trudeau has an inkling of how to get out of this. I know for a fact Singh doesn't. And this cabinet shuffle, this is just more evidence to me that the Liberals are done. And the reason I say they're done is that that's 3 cabinet ministers in 24 hours who have said not only are they being removed from cabinet or resigning from cabinet, they're also not seeking re-election. I gave you 3 others that more than likely will be removed from cabinet and will not be seeking re-election. And I find it amazing when I take a look at Canada 338 that one of the ridings is Carolyn Bennett's St. Paul seat in Toronto. She's facing a major challenge from the NDP and will probably lose it. Omar Odabra is facing a major challenge to his seat and will probably lose it. The other cabinet minister who I mentioned, let me just find her name again here, Helen Jezak, she also is facing a major challenge and will probably lose her seat. This truly is the shuffling of the deck chairs on the Titanic. Trudeau is bailing water, and it's coming in faster than he can get rid of it. We are truly now at the end. And I believe that end is coming in the spring of 2024. But stay tuned, because obviously tomorrow afternoon I will be making another one of these videos to talk about what's going on with the new cabinet shuffle and whether or not Trudeau actually made some good decisions or if he's just trying to wallpaper over a bad job on the wall and put perfume on a pig. I think that's what he's trying to do. So until then, as always, this has been Pray on This. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.